My partner, 34 female, and I, 28 male, have been together for 5 years. She has a daughter, pre-tween, from a previous relationship. Right off the bat, it was made known I had fertility issues and likely wouldn't be able to father a child. So I moved slowly in the relationship, although I had fallen in love with her fast. When things got serious, I overheard her telling her sister she was concerned that I might be an aggressive type person because of the number of scars I have. I didn't want her scared away, so I told her I had a lousy childhood and left it. A little over 2 years into our relationship, I felt comfortable opening up. For the first time, I told her exactly why I was infertile, which directly resulted from an injury I'd suffered. She was really empathetic, and I was just thankful I'd found the one I wanted to spend my life with that also came with a kid I adore. Fast forward to last summer. My partner and her friend decided to play an impromptu prank on me. I came home from work and had multiple positive pregnancy tests in the bathroom. My partner announced she was pregnant, and I started freaking out. A happy freak out because I thought I'd hit the lottery with the slim to no chance I had. They both started laughing, and the tests were from the friend and not my partner. I was devastated and felt really let down that my partner would pull a prank like that. At first, she was shocked by my reaction and said, "I thought you'd know it was a joke considering your circumstances." She ended up apologizing after realizing how hurt I was. Now for the point of the post. 3 weeks ago, she arranged a huge dinner with her entire family at our house. She had us play this stupid mystery game and ultimately announced to everyone she was pregnant. Her mother and sisters were deliriously happy. Immediately, I got angry, thinking this was yet another prank, so I showed no emotions, which everyone caught on to. I said to my partner, either you're just mentally disturbed or you're cheating. That's pretty much when everything broke loose. My partner's point of view is that she was sincerely apologetic about the prank and I should know her well enough not to think she'd ever pull that stunt again. However, she's also livid at me for ruining the announcement, embarrassing her in front of her entire family, causing them to think I'm a horrible person, and then finally insinuating that she's a cheater. I still stand by the claim that had she never pranked me, my reaction would have been different. I do find it odd that she decided to tell me along with her family. Things would likely have gone better had she told me first and then we announced it together. But I'm starting to think I acted immaturely, causing a scene in front of her family, and I think that maybe that's where I'm wrong. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. That prank was just beyond cruel. And then to announce it with everyone and not tell you privately is insensitive and immature. Your reaction was to be expected. I see both of these as red flags for your relationship. Congrats on the baby though, although I'm sure you'll have doubts until the paternity test happens. It's like cheating on someone, then getting mad at them for thinking you might be cheating on them again. Saying sorry doesn't erase your crappy actions, and it doesn't just magically repair the trust you deliberately destroyed. She seems supernaturally immature. I hope this works out, but I would have left after that awful prank. She cried wolf and it backfired. Honestly, it's odd to me that she decided to surprise you at the same moment as her family, even without your history. I find that a bit insensitive, as it should be a private moment for you two first, but especially given your history and the prank, it shouldn't have been public. Your girlfriend sounds attention-seeking and surely has the empathy of a mouldy potato. If it weren't for the kid on the way, I'd tell you to run away from her as fast as you can. I thought she was cheating, and the prank was a way to soft break the news to see his reaction and put it out there that it could happen. Beware, OP. Get that paternity test ASAP. She might be scamming you. That would make sense. She cheated, got pregnant, and expected her infertile boyfriend to react badly and accuse her of cheating, giving her an out where she looks like the innocent party. When instead he was just ecstatic, she panicked and pretended it was a prank. The next time, a public announcement, only now she's prepared for that, and OP reacted the way she needed, and now her family can all agree he's a terrible person, and she's free to leave him and find a new daddy for her baby, and one just might be waiting in the aisle ready to white knight it. My daughter is heading off to college this year. My wife and I decided years ago that if and when she went to college, we didn't want her working to support herself. Well, now that time has come, we've been working on ways to make sure she can entirely focus on her education. My wife and I budgeted out a monthly allowance for her and her tuition payments. A big part of this is that I want to teach her to budget her money and figure out how to handle her own purchasing. As she was still going to live at home while she went to school, it was made clear she could still eat with us and use some of our stuff. We expected her to start buying her necessities and prepare and cook her food. We also cut back on our grocery bill to an appropriate amount to cover me, my wife, and our other child. We decided this would take effect in June and made sure for months that she would be ready for it. We taught her how to balance a checkbook, income versus expenses, the basics of cooking, etc. To say the first month was a disaster is an understatement. Within only 11 days, she had blown through her entire monthly allowance. This was not an insignificant amount either. We gave her $1,000 and she blew through it in 11 days. She doesn't pay any rent, utilities, health insurance, etc. She had no clue how she blew through that much money, but I figured it out incredibly quickly. She spent $500 alone eating out, $300 at Walmart on who knows what, and the rest on gas somehow, again in a car she doesn't pay for. She then asked if it would be possible to increase the amount of money she was being given. I lost it. I held nothing back and told her there was no way in the heck this would happen again. The experiment was over, and there was no damn way I would give her a single cent of unsupervised money. We spent months teaching her. And I mean, literally every weekend I was teaching her how to be a responsible adult. I told her that I was the most disappointed in her I had ever been at that moment, and she knew I felt I had failed as a parent. We are not rich, never have been. $500 out of every one of my paychecks is very, very noticeable. I've been monitoring her like a hawk ever since. I give her no more than $20 cash, and if she ever wants to use her card, she needs to tell me the exact amount so I can transfer it over. This has not been easy and has caused strain on our relationship. So I told her now she can get a job if she wants because then at least it's her own money. Now though, I'm getting backlash from extended family who have learned what's happening. My wife is in firm agreement, but now I'm second-guessing myself. Am I the idiot? I have to say, you are the idiot. You waiting until your daughter was 18 and a half years old to start teaching her any kind of basic adult life skills. No wonder she's not good at it. You should have started years ago if you wanted her to be a plug-and-play functioning adult. You only have yourself to blame for this. $1,000 was a stupidly large amount of money to give to an inexperienced teenager for an entire month. You should have started with $200, $250 for the week. Sat down with her, figured out how much gas she'd need, then explained to her the rest was food and extras. Why on earth would you start so large? I assume she's never had $1,000 at her disposal before. She was like a kid in a candy store. You are the idiot because of your total overreaction. Also, one failure and then you'll conclude she'll never learn. Telling her this was the most disappointing thing she's ever done is melodramatic and won't help her change her lifestyle, and neither will only giving her $20 spending money. You banned her from working, and now she doesn't know the value of money. Life is a great teacher. Let her learn. Stop being so angry about it. Not the idiot. She blew through $1,000 in 11 days? That's not just a mess up in my eyes. That's a lot of money. And spending it in the way she did before her actual responsibilities is enough. People are saying she can have another chance, but OP isn't rich, it's a lot of money, and after months of teaching her, she still didn't listen. You learn money management with $20. I know because I've done so for years, and OP isn't preventing her from getting a job. If she needs more money or wants to spend it, she can earn it herself. I have a young child and an infant. The transition from 1 to 2 has been tough, especially with a newborn. My husband has been an amazing help, but he had to go on a business trip. Going on this trip would ensure he didn't have to travel for at least a year, so I told him to go as it was only a week. 4 days in, I was exhausted and overwhelmed. I got maybe an hour or two of sleep each night combined with each kid's needs, housework and me semi-transitioning back to work. I have no help outside my nanny. No family in the area and friends are busy with work. Our nanny is also transitioning into caring for both kids. With a pay raise, now $30 an hour, she's mainly cared for my eldest since birth. He's gone to summer camp this summer, so she's worked about 25 hours a week, still compensated for her usual 36. I was fried and wiped, offering her overtime to come in when my son was at camp to watch the baby for 4 hours so I could nap. I told her if she didn't want to, it was fine and I'd try to find a sitter. She insisted she could do it. I gave her the condition that I was not to be woken up unless there was a true emergency. Someone is ill or injured, there's a fire, or the baby won't take a bottle, mainly breastfed but usually will take a bottle, or is inconsolable. She agreed. Remember that she's worked for us since our oldest was a baby. She has experience with newborns and knows what comes with that. I finally fall into a much-needed deep sleep. It felt like 5 minutes, it turned out to be 30. I'm being shaken awake. At first I was just groggy and disoriented. The nanny was leaning over me saying, "The baby had a blowout." It took me a minute to come to my senses and I finally said, "Okay." She asked if she should have a bath, do I want the sheets thrown in the wash, etc. I then realised there was no true emergency. It's normal for babies at this age to have that happen, and I've told her in the past if my eldest wets the bed, just leave the sheets in the laundry room and bath him. She just kept staring at me, so I snapped, "Do what you would do for eldest kid. Why did you wake me up?" She got defensive and said she was just checking. I reminded her of our deal and she walked out. I tried to fall back asleep but couldn't as my baby was crying from getting a bath and being changed. I would have slept through it if I hadn't woken up as they were in another room. I always wake up if she's beside me. Finally, the baby stopped crying, but I was wide awake and couldn't fall back asleep. After an hour, I gave up, went and grabbed my baby, dismissing the nanny. She texted me later saying I disrespected her and she didn't deserve that. I told her I was sorry for my tone, but that wasn't an emergency and it defeated the purpose of me getting a break. I paid her for the full 4 hours, even though she was only there for 2, as I did choose to dismiss her. She says I'm the mom, so it shouldn't be a burden. It's not a burden, but I needed the break, and she was being paid $45 an hour, overtime rate. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I'm no nanny. I'm a 22-year-old child-free dude. I wouldn't wake you up for that. Literally, what else would she think you'd want her to do with the baby in that situation? If you paid her to let you sleep, that's all she had to do. I know it's the last thing you need, but I'd start interviewing new nannies ASAP. OP pays the nanny fat, gives her explicit instructions as to why OP wanted to be left alone, gets angry when the nanny doesn't follow the instructions, sends her home early, and still pays the nanny for the agreed upon hours. OP is not the idiot at all. OMG, why have kids if you can't handle them alone? I'm sorry, but why is your older kid away at camp? I would never trust anyone with my child, especially with how everything is in this world. As for nanny, for her to shake you like that is a very good reason to wake up in a bad mood. You both are the idiots. Ha 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 ha. I have no help outside my nanny. Entitled much, lol. Do you know how lucky you are to have a nanny? Most people do not have that luxury. I just couldn't get past this. On to your issues. Use your words. I am exhausted, do not wake me up unless the sky is exploding. Repeat, have nanny repeat it back to you. Go to sleep. Don't snap at nanny. Jobs for her are a dime a dozen these days. My 22 male girlfriend, 21, works in chemical synthesis. It may sound cool, but it's about the equivalent of a tedious 9-to-5 office job, but just in a laboratory instead. We live together and commute together, dating for 2 years. My girlfriend is beautiful. She has a natural beauty, and while she's not the girly of girls, she usually wears some makeup every day. Nothing too glam, just simple and honest, like concealer for blemishes, a bit of eyeliner, that's it. She still looks gorgeous, and I love her as she is. Recently, I've noticed she started wearing more makeup, with things like pink or red lip gloss or glittery eyeshadow of non-natural colours or highlighter to work. I was a bit confused as I don't see the point because her work requires that she wear a lab coat and goggles and long pants and things that in general don't require her to make a whole look of her appearance since she wears protective stuff over it. When I asked her about it, she said it was just her way of having fun daily by doing some nice makeup. She doesn't have many co-workers and she says a lot of the work she does in the lab is just her own, so it's just something she does for herself for fun each day. But the thing is, I know she has at least one male co-worker, and many, if not all of the higher-ups that she communicates with in her department are middle-aged men. She works very closely and frequently with her mentor, a man in his 40s, as well, and she speaks very highly and fondly of him, and I worry that they'll see her being all glammed up and get the wrong idea. I suggested she wear less makeup to work and return to her natural routine, because she looked pretty that way and I don't want her giving men the wrong ideas. I feel like my request was reasonable and casual, but when I asked, she went timid and quiet and has been since, and now I'm starting to wonder, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. It's just makeup. If she likes it, there's no harm to it. Do you seriously believe wearing more makeup gives others the wrong idea, such as flirting or hitting on them? What's next? She can't wear certain clothes? Don't die on this hill. Apologize and respect her right to what she wants to wear. Work on your insecurities. Wearing makeup isn't cheating. My favourite part was, I don't want her giving men the wrong ideas. So your problem here is with men, huh? Maybe you should tell the men you know to stop judging women on their makeup, rather than expecting your girlfriend to change who she is. My favourite part is him putting down his girlfriend's career in less than 3 sentences into his post. OP, your insecurities are not hers to manage. Nothing about your request was reasonable. Instead, you shamed your girlfriend for having the audacity to do something that she enjoys, boosts her self-esteem, and essentially called her a tease. Grow up! I, 34 male, have a sister, Caitlin, 21. We have a decent age gap. We're technically half-siblings, but never used that term. Her dad left before she was born. Our mom died when I was 22 and Caitlin was little. As I had essentially helped my mom raise her, I gained custody and continued to raise her. I adopted her, and while we still refer to each other as brother and sister, she will always be my first kid. I changed her diapers and started clothing and feeding her long before our mom died, as our mom needed financial help. I was there for every nightmare and temper tantrum and survived the hormonal teenage years. She's my kid, no doubting that. Caitlin is at college now but still lives with me on breaks. I've been dating my current girlfriend, Abby, 32, for 8 months. We've been discussing the future, what we see for ourselves, etc. I mentioned that it was important that Caitlin always had a home with me, that I'd always want a room set aside for her, etc. Abby was somewhat hesitant and asked why. I told her that if anything happened, I'd want Caitlin to have a safe place to land. Abby doesn't like that. She asked what happens when we have kids. I said I could care for all of them, but Caitlin is my first kid and she'd be a priority, same as the rest. I'd do the same for any kid we had. Abby got angry and said our kids would be my real kids and they should come before Caitlin. I refused. She told me this was wrong and I'd be a horrible father if I acted like this. Our hypothetical kids deserved better, etc. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This woman just did you a favour. She gave you an out before trapping you with kids. Bail on this new person now because her opinion on this will never change. She doesn't understand, doesn't want to understand, and it will only worsen. OP, you think it's a coincidence she waited until now to say this, even though she almost certainly felt like that from the beginning? This is the red flag you need to move on. This isn't someone you want to build a life with. Your relationship essentially ended the moment she said, real kids. You can hem and haw and delude yourself into thinking that you can look past this, but the resentment is always going to be there. Caitlin is your daughter. Your partner doesn't see her as your daughter and believes that biological children, who don't exist, are real and that any child who comes from alternate situations, like adoption, is not a real child. This is a fundamental incompatibility with who you are as a person. You are the idiot. Why would your presumably adult sister need the same attention that a small child who isn't even alive yet gets? Caitlin would most likely be living her own independent life by that point and not need her older brother to prioritize her the way he would his hypothetical baby. Here's the thing. I think OP needs to think through what it means to have a room dedicated to an adult, not now but at some point, in your home. At some point, there has to be some sort of reasonable balance and expectation that the little sister is responsible for and can manage her own life. Good luck to you all.